Hello, welcome back to another skateboarding channel. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take you guys with me to Tottenham. We head over to the DIY to repair the floor there. It's looking pretty ropey and pretty crusty, but I think there's quite a lot we can do about that. So the first thing we had to do was go get on that train. So the guys had already gone through with the angle grinders and cut out pretty much all of the concrete from the damaged areas before it even got there. I do believe they'd done that someday last week, which is fantastic. But it's really important when you're doing this to make sure you've got a nice clean edge. The clean edge is the most important part. You need to be able to make sure that your new concrete is going to bond to the old. Again, once you've cut it out, make sure you clean it out. Get rid of all of that dust, any debris, anything that could prevent that from sticking. You want to get rid of all of it. So yeah, we're lucky enough to have plenty of puddles, so we just used the rainwater to clear it out, and that done just fine. Yeah, being a DIY, you can always find a puddle or two here. There is zero drainage in yet. I mean, there are plans to put in drainage, but it's not really the end of the day. I think most people that go there are quite happy to spend 15 minutes sweeping out the puddles. You know, by the time you've had a coffee then, it's all dry and off you go. People have been building here for about 22 years. And in fact, this man here has definitely been building here for 22 years.
Good morning.
Absolute legend. This man gets people up, doing things. He gets people off their asses. You need people like him in the world. Too many people just sit there
Just to show off.
complaining they haven't got this to skate, they haven't got that to skate, or the skate park's not very good. Well, all it takes is one person to stand up and say let's go and do it, and actually organise it. And the DIY it in Tottenham, that is the man, the main man. So yeah, we went off on a mission to try and find some cement and some pea shingle. The sand had already been delivered to the spot, even though it was very strange sand, really large grains. But who cares, you know? It doesn't really matter all that much. It's for a skate park. Temp 3, third store looking for cement. Yeah, but getting concrete was an absolute nightmare. First off, we went into the B&Q, who had pea shingle, but no concrete. So we drove off to a Wick store, and they had no concrete. In fact, they said they had no concrete for 3 months, which was astonishing. And 3 miles down the road, another Wick's, there we are, 270 bags of concrete. You thought they would have sent half of their batch to their other store down the road, but no. No. Good for us anyway, we found the 10 bags that we needed. We'd already got the 10 bags of pea shingle. So the next thing to do was get back to the spot. I'm pretty sure the guys back there were wondering what was going on. We'd probably been gone for about an hour at this point. Not far off an hour, I'm sure. I can just imagine the conversations those dudes were having though. They won't get no concrete in London. People haven't been digging it out of the ground for 9 months. Or longer. All these lockdowns, the mines have all shut, you know, everything's shut down. That means they've just stopped producing everything. Even where I live, actually, my sister was trying to get sand and she found it quite hard to get 2 tons of sand delivered. Can you believe it? We're living in a world where it's hard to get sand. So, yeah. But that's the world we're living in today, boys and girls. Yeah, so you can see there was quite a few people turned out to help, which is very nice. Usually on these spot builds you'll have like 18-20 heads at least. But being as it's quite a small area here, I think it's pretty good that there wasn't too many people. It could get a little bit crowded. And you know what they say about too many chefs spoiling the broth? Well, the same goes for things like this. It really does. You notice everything's cut out to really nice angles. That's very important. It's really important that you get those edges nice and square. And if you don't, you'll regret it. Your concrete will start crumbling pretty quickly. Another thing to remember is if you're doing any repairs in your concrete, make sure that you paint the areas that you've cut out with a Unibond. You can use a PVA glue and water mix for that, it's fine, but do it. If you don't, you'll regret it. Again, give it 6-7 months and you're going to start getting cracks appearing at the joins, and after a year or so you might as well have not even bothered doing it in the first place. So, you know, take the time to do these little bits and pieces. And my coffee as always. So, but I really enjoyed this actually. It's more a bit of community, you know, when people get together and do something. Not because they have to, not because they've been told to, just because it's the right thing to do. We all get involved, we all get it done, and we all get to enjoy the benefits of it. And not just us, anyone else from anywhere in the world that decides to rock up at this place will get to enjoy the benefits of this little bit of work. And it's really not a big deal, you know, when you get a few people doing this together. It becomes a party, you know, like a session. It's a real fun time. It really is. I highly recommend it, you know, to anyone. If your skate park's perfect, go find a little spot somewhere in the woods. Find a little bit of wasteland that no one uses. Find a little bit of concrete. You and a few friends chip in a little bit of money. Buy some sand cement. Get some buckets of water down there. Mix it up and throw it up somewhere. Have a little bit of fun with it. I mean, if you take a look at this place, it is huge. Huge. And every single transition in this place has been built by a BMXer or a skateboarder. Someone with an idea, someone that was like, oh, if only there was this here, I could then come from this transition through here, over this obstacle, and then, boom, hit the trick that they want. But instead of just wishing it was there, these people build it, they put it there. And that's what we need to do. Everyone's got so many great ideas in life. Stand up. Stand up. Use your ideas. Inspire other people. Because you can. If you've got ideas and you've got the motivation, well, you can motivate other people. And everyone benefits. It's a really wonderful thing. Talking of wonderful things, when you're doing a DIY with no plans, you come across all sorts of silly little problems. Like here, the concrete's been already laid into this hole, but it doesn't need to be there yet, really. You know, it was an afterthought to remove the concrete around this this pole, which is almost a pointless pole. It's supposed to be for drainage, to take water from one end of this hump down and out of the park, but it doesn't really work. It just kind of moves it from one side of the hump to the next. But who cares? It's a DIY. It hasn't got to be perfect. Yeah. But remember, guys, once you start to actually put in your cement into these holes, just get it in there, work it, get it smoothed up to the edges, and you need to leave it for a while. Half an hour, an hour and a half before you start to work it again. And you have to, of course, adjust that depending on the temperature and the humidity. The hotter it is, the faster it's going to start to go off. And at the same time, the more humid it is, the slower it's going to go off. So if you're on a really hot day, but with a lot of humidity, again, it's going to take a while for your cement to start to set. But once it does start to set, that's when you want to get in there and really, really work it. Which is something I don't do, personally. You see Dan there with a float. This guy knows how to smooth things out. I'm quite happy to get the cement down in the hole and fill it out and smooth it as best as possible. When it comes to that final polish, I'll leave it to these boys, because they really know what they're doing. And it is a bit of an art form, really. You get the feel for it over years, I suppose. And these guys have been building here for a very, very, very long time. Now this is about as fun as it gets for me. Rubbing down the joins between new concrete and old concrete with a stone, trying to make it as smooth as possible. Not that it makes much difference, really. It's a DIY. I mean, we want to keep it a little bit crusty. It keeps out the scooter kids. It keeps out anyone that's really, well, it separates the boys from the men, you know? Which is sometimes what you need in this day and age, where skateboarding is getting so popular, you can't even get a run in a proper skate park. So you have to rely on these gnarly DIYs that are not perfect, that just rough enough to put people off from coming, but not so bad that it's impossible to skate. And I think This DIY has actually got a really good balance of that, which is fantastic. Apart from the area that we're working here, this was terrible, really terrible. But, you know, we got it done. And now it's going to be a session. So this was laid on Saturday, and I plan to go back on Thursday to have a session to go and skate all this area. And some of my favourite obstacles in this DIY are in this end, and they've basically been impossible to get to. It's been a real nightmare. Yeah, so it is just a case of getting that stuff in the ground, smooth it all out, be patient, wait some time, go over it again, wait some time, give it that final polish, and cover it up, and just pray that no one comes and walks through it. And I'll leave it for there, and we'll be back on Friday with an update of how the session went on Thursday. So I'll see you there, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you like this kind of content. Do give me some good feedback on it. I want to know if this is something that people like to see or not. This is all new to me, but I'll leave it for there. I'll see you soon. Peace, guys.